listening to CinemaJaw, the greatest movies podcast ever, recorded on location from CinemaJaw Studios in Chicago. My name is Matt K, and with me is...
Rye the Movie Guy.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
And sitting right to my left is KP.
Hello.
This week on CinemaJaw, Matt, we have 4 reviews for the Jawheads, which means this is...
a Review-O-Rama. Should I let the Jawheads in on the secrets here, Ryan?
You bet.
We're going to review Woman of the Hour, Anora, Venom The Last Dance, and Heretic.
Wow.
Yeah.
3 great movies and 1 crapper.
Which is which?
We shall find out, shall we not?
Okay. That's just your opinion, man.
And it might also be the last week of CinemaJaw. We'll see how this goes. we might just neither...
We might be disagreeing so much, it's going to be a Royal Rumble. Hint, hint on who our new theme is going to be this month.
Yeah, you might be telegraphing it.
Yes. In addition to the 4 reviews, in honor of Heretic, which stars Hugh Grant, Matt K, Stump the Kubinski, Hugh Grant movie trivia.
Oof. Wow. I am not confident on this subject at all.
And I don't think you should be, because I always do actually write them. I've told you this before. I write them questions that I hope that you can answer. It would be no fun if I wrote questions that I know you can't answer the questions
but somehow I still don't get them right.
I feel like this is easier than you think it is.
But when
Maybe.
Hugh Grant and I wrote them, I thought all 5 of these Matt's not going to get, even though I tried to give him the easiest ones I could. But knowing Matt K, I'm thinking Matt may go 0 for 5.
He's in a lot.
Can I ask one question about the trivia?
Sure.
Okay. Are they all 5 about Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves?
None, unfortunately.
Okay, then I'm worried.
We do have a new theme this week, and in honor, this gentleman has 2 huge movies coming out this month. One of them is called The Red One, and one of them is called Moana 2.
Wow. Who could we be talking about?
This November, we are celebrating Dwayne Johnson.
You are absolutely right.
You're damn right you're right. You know when you're right, Matt.
Yeah, I smell what The Rock is cooking.
Yes,
And
The
you're
Rock.
welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
This is fantastic. So we are celebrating The Rock this month. Let's kick it off with The Rock fact.
Yeah. Well, and let's be classy, okay? We're not a wrestling podcast. This is a Dwayne Johnson fact. This is actually super cool, too. In every movie that Dwayne The Rock Johnson has been in since 2016, starred in, it's been produced by 7 Bucks Productions, and that's his own company. I didn't even know he had a production company. The name comes from the amount of cash that was in his wallet the moment he was cut from the Canadian Football League, and right before he got into wrestling. From humble beginnings.
Yeah.
As of right now, his net worth is about $800 million. He owns soap at Target.
He did well for himself.
He sure
Something
did.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's his own industry, The Rock, right?
Yeah. He more than... what is the multiplier on that? My math skills...
Oh, my God. What, I mean, to
It's more
multiply
than-
7 all the way up to 800 million?
Yeah, let's just say it was
It's
700 million.
That's
it's
so 100 million times.
Yeah. He more than 100 million X'd his money.
That's amazing. I mean, I love those stories when you hear those. Like, I had, a few dollars in my pocket and I'm about to quit, and then something big happens to you. I love hearing those stories.
Well, and who else but The Rock, too? You know what I mean? Well, he's just such a likable guy.
He
He's
is.
super likable.
He's got charisma like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, he really does. I like The Rock.
So, because we're starting off the month, let's also do an interested or ignore on a couple of movies. And these are both heavy hitters. We've already spoiled them because they both star Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to get you real festive with Red One.
Not to be confused. It's not The Red One. It's just Red One.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Red One. No
like
one's going to
Eagle One. Get it? It's like a code name. Go
I
on.
see.
Sorry, KP.
When a villain... I'm sorry, John. I can't even read this with a straight face. When a villain kidnaps a Santa Claus from the North Pole, an ELF, extremely large and formidable operative, joins forces with the world's most accomplished tracker to find him and save Christmas. The film stars The Rock, Chris Evans, Lucy Liu, and J.K. Simmons, and it will be out November 15th. Ryan, let us know. Let us know where you stand on Red One.
I'm pretty sure Matt had this listed on his fall movie preview.
I did.
I was
No apologies.
I was thinking about this while I was coming down to the studio, and I thought, did Matt really have this listed as one of his 5 films that he wants to see this fall?
He's the most electrifying man in entertainment, Ryan.
I am absolutely ignoring the hell out of this movie. I have zero interest in seeing it. And 2 things. One,
You're getting coal.
Listen, I just came from, September you had the Toronto International Film Fest.
Ooh, la-di-da.
October we had Chicago. Plus horror season. Now we're into November. This is like, all right, all these good movies. And you're going to give me a movie about an ELF tracking down Santa Claus with Chris Evans? The whole thing sounds ridiculous. Big time ignore.
I am not a Scrooge and a Grinch like Rye the movie guy, and I can get down with a stupid Christmas movie. And yes, I completely admit this is going to be stupid and probably a lot of fun. Chris Pratt and The Rock are both
Evans.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. The Chris's are fairly interchangeable, let's be honest.
Hemsworth, any one of them. Any one of the pretty boys.
Right. I love them. I love them all. And so, yeah, I'm interested. I think it's going to suck, but it'll be fun.
You know what? I actually can piggyback off of Matt a little bit. I'm still not going to see it. Ignore. Big time ignore. I think what the IMDb synopsis leaves out, like, Chris Evans specifically is on the naughty list as the tracker, and like it just I can't. I can't. I can't.
So Chris Evans is the actual tracker?
And yes, and like it okay, and you know what else sullied
and
me
so
on
the
this?
ELF then is
The
Dwayne
Rock's
Johnson
organization.
Yeah. Okay, I gotcha.
The thing that really sullies me on this is that the first time this came on my radar was in the screening before Alien Resurrection, and
I hate
it was
it when
just
people come on my radar.
yeah, man, me too. Well, and imagine, I didn't even like Resurrection, but the excitement of this cool alien film, and like this is what they're showing me, I was like, I can't. I'm not in the mood, and then it sullied it.
Because of where they place the coming attraction?
Is the Alien Resurrection crowd going to be like, oh, dude, let's watch Marvel Santa? No!
I agree with that take by KP. I'm right there. You're watching about to see an alien movie, and a Santa Claus preview comes on with The Rock and Chris Evans.
This was the best part of that movie.
Terrible.
It's got like Joss Whedon writing, and that is not a compliment.
I didn't have this on my radar at all until Matt brought it up on the fall movie preview list, and I in fact haven't seen anything about it, and I finally saw the tail end of the commercial walking into my living room this past weekend. I was like, oh, that's the movie that's coming out. Like, oh, God.
Mark my words, Jawheads, right here and now. If this movie does find an audience and makes its budget back, we will be watching Red 2 in just a year or so. They're going to kidnap Mrs. Claus.
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
But we're still not going to get the Violent Night sequel.
Oh, I hope we do. That was awesome.
Exactly. That's the kind of Christmas action movie we need in 2024.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
Yeah, we'll scale back from awesome on it and just say it was pretty good.
It was awesome.
I thought it was awesome. Yeah.
All right, what else we got coming up?
This is more Rockamania with Moana 2. Moana journeys to the far seas of Oceania after receiving an unexpected call from her wayfinding ancestors. And the original cast is back, including Auli'i Cravalho and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And this film is coming out November 27th. Matt, I think we all know the answer here.
Yeah. I believe I've said on this show many, many times, this is a family favorite. Like, if you had to say, what is the Kubinski family's favorite movie, it would be Moana. Interested. Love Moana. Gonna give this one a real chance.
I'm really excited and interested for this movie because I've only seen Moana one time, and I think I've told you this before on the show. I've watched it once. I don't have kids. I don't have the Kubinski spirit of rewatching Moana 50 times like yourself. So I actually am going to rewatch Moana as a refresher.
It's
I'm
so good.
I'm
It's
actually
so good.
excited for that, to be honest.
should be.
Because I know my brother loves it. I've told the story that my brother actually wants to go to the screening. I already told him the date because the publicists already told us.
Yeah, we got to save the date. I
save
did
the
too.
date
I did too.
For the screening, and I texted my brother, just in case you want to come down to the city, it's this date. I haven't heard back from him yet.
I asked if I could bring the whole Kubinski clan,
Yeah.
so we'll see.
My brother doesn't go. I'm gonna have to bring KP as the guest for sure. You know.
Yeah.
Happy to go.
So I'm interested in Moana 2, KP.
Without question, interested. I am similar to the Kubinskis in that when Coco was coming out, I was really worried. I was like, man, is my favorite Disney movie about to be replaced? And it wasn't. And I don't think it's going to be replaced by the sequel. I don't think they're going to capture
No.
the same magic in the bottle. But I'm also walking into it, like we've talked about Furiosa, we've talked about...
Super high expectations.
yeah. And mine are like... less angry about it than Inside Out 2. And just, I don't know, I'm buckled up. I'm ready for it.
Well, it also seems like it's a movie that people, even if they only get like 75% of the greatness of Moana, they would just be happy because it's more Moana. That's the
Exactly.
vibe of the fan base, it feels. Where I think in other cases, say like an Inside Out, using that example, we were like in that realm of like, don't screw up a masterpiece by adding on a sequel. We were totally happy with it just being Inside Out. In this case, it doesn't feel that angst against adding
You're right,
on to
totally.
the story.
It doesn't.
Right?
It doesn't. Not to say that the original Moana isn't a masterpiece, because I believe it is.
Without question, it is.
But for some reason, it doesn't have that same like trepidation
Right.
surrounding it.
Well, I think it didn't wrap itself up as nicely. That's not the way
There's
I want to
more
say
story
it. But
to tell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I also think that the world of Moana is just so
Rich.
lovable, and you want to be there with Hey, right? Like you want to be there with Moana and Maui. They're just likable. It's a likable cast.
One little detail, one ingredient I'll throw in this cauldron here: Lin-Manuel Miranda not writing the music for this one.
You are absolutely right.
Wow.
I knew it, Rock.
Yeah. I did not know that.
True. I can't remember. I saw it on like Screen Rant or something.
Can we throw in the fish tank? Who
Let's
is
do.
writing
Yeah.
the music? Yeah, that would
I
be good.
believe it's Kristen Anderson Lopez again. Still, I believe.
Okay, let's double check.
Yeah.
Let's get
Lord-
our ducks in a row.
Lord knows, I need to be fact checked.
Yeah.
Speaking of fact checking,
Oh
Ryan,
yeah. Let's get on to the reviews, Matt K.
let's do that. Let's kick it off with Woman of the Hour. In her directorial debut and hit for Netflix, Woman of the Hour, Anna Kendrick is on both sides of the camera. But can this true crime thriller win a date with you, or is it more like Bachelor #2? Should this have just been a podcast episode after all, or did Kendrick capture a truly chilling chapter in TV history? We asked our first question to find out.
Did you want me to try it again?
No. We'll be in touch. Hey, Cheryl.
Yeah,
No. No. Janet?
Janet.
Janet.
Helen, I can barely afford my rent.
Well, I booked you a guest spot on a TV show.
Right through here. Great. You okay? Uh-huh. Great. Have fun.
All right, everybody, let's get started.
Kendrick can direct. That is what I am here to tell you, Jawheads. The thing that you need to know about Woman of the Hour is that it keeps you on the edge of your seat. That's such a cliche, but it's very true. Certain characters, the thing that keeps you on the edge of your seat is how close certain characters get to a truly disturbed killer and how some get too close. The movie takes us back to the unsettling reality of the 1970s dating game killer, blending dark suspense with a dissection of pop culture's obsession with fame. Kendrick plays Cheryl Bradshaw, a young actress roped into a bizarre episode of the dating game, and it keeps you on the edge as it reveals the disturbing true story of how serial killer Rodney Alcala, played disturbingly by Daniel Zavato, managed to win a spot as a contestant on the dating show. Yes, this really happened, and this killer actually won the date. Bizarre. Kendrick's direction shines in its careful handling of tension and atmosphere. placing us uncomfortably close to Alcala's charismatic yet sinister presence. Woman of the Hour also dives into the unsettling world of TV's obsession with entertainment at any cost and its objectification of not just women, but human beings in general, showing how Bradshaw's discomfort on set was overlooked for the sake of good ratings. Kendrick's Cheryl brings vulnerability and grit, capturing the terror of realizing that she's unwittingly put herself in a very dangerous situation. Usually, I try to pick one thing to criticize Rye, even if I have to pick only a nitpick, but I am hard-pressed with Woman of the Hour. It's easy to make a serial killer movie and mess it up, leaning too heavily into the sensationalism or the macabre. Kendrick walks the line between true crime and glib media obsession quite well, and her atmosphere and directing here are top-notch. Zavato also is so charming and sinister that I found him to be the real breakout star in this. In other words, there's not much to criticize. This is one of those movies that will send you down a Wikipedia or YouTube rabbit hole to search and soak up the true story. I wouldn't call it scary. Gripping is the term I would use. But the tension at times is almost too much to take. It's like a bowstring ready to snap. And I say, take it in.
Yeah, I'm right with you. You know, I rewatched it this week because I was very high on this. This sounds crazy, but I saw this in Toronto last year in 2023, and this was
wow.
This was a title up for sale back then. So Netflix bought it and held it all this time. So when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be in contention for, maybe, might not be top 10 of the year, but up there for me when it came out. And I was like, whatever happened to that movie? And now it's finally released to Netflix a year after. And I'm like, glad to finally see it. And I think what you're hitting at, where you're saying there's not much to criticize, that's because this is a tight, well-told story.
Right.
Not a lot of fat to the story.
No fluff.
I think the runtime is right around 90 minutes. Cuts right to the chase. You know what I mean? And I like that from her directorial debut for sure. I think the decision to have the dating game episode basically run throughout the length of the movie was a fantastic choice, because what we have here is the episode being played out, and then we get flashbacks to other victims that Rodney Alcala murdered.
And even one flash forward. They keep you...
Right. Moving it around.
Yeah.
But the through line is that the dating game's taking place for a very long period of time during the movie.
Right.
And I think that structure inside the film is what really makes the movie so gripping. And then when we get those tense moments between Anna Kendrick and this serial killer, it's like, oh my God, that's like edge of your seats type stuff.
Did you rewind it to try to figure out when she figured it out?
Yes. Well, so again, this was the second time I watched it.
Right. Okay. So you didn't need to rewind.
Yeah. So the second time I watched it, I was like, oh, right, here we go. Yes.
Okay.
And this is when so what happens, and this is...
It's true crime, so...
It's true crime, but we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. But because we might have a jaw-dropping moment revealed.
Oh, okay.
Here.
All right. Well.
But to your point, this is when they go on basically an impromptu small date after the...
Yeah. They go out for drinks after the show.
Yeah. Show ends, and he wins the contest, and they run into each other in the parking lot after the taping, and they go out for drinks. And that's when everything starts to click for her, that this guy is a total creep. Mm-hmm. And then what do you do from there?
Right.
Then that's the scene in the movie for sure. I mean, I've been in those situations where it's scary, where you're just walking in an empty parking lot with maybe one other person.
Yeah.
And A, I'm not with a serial killer alongside me, and B, I'm not, a small female woman with a big 6-foot dude right behind me walking into the car who I'm starting to think might be a killer.
Yeah.
God, my palms were sweating, and that was the second time I saw it, and I already knew the outcome, and I was still very tense.
Tense. Like a bowstring. Like I said, it is one of the more tense movies I've ever seen, but like a lot of times that can be very unpleasant, like dread. Mm-hmm. This isn't that. It's kind of like fun tension, even though it's like a true crime serial killer movie. I hope that's not out of place to say, but I enjoyed the experience of feeling that tension.
Sure. I know I've talked to some people asking, people always asking me for recommendations for movies. And you got to see this Woman of the Hour. It's out on Netflix. And people have responded, well, I already know the story. And I do think if you know the story, it somewhat ruins what happens to the character that Anna Kendrick plays, because they've already known the result. And I did not know. So I do think if you don't know the story when you go in, it's probably a more gripping movie than if you already have seen like a docuseries or heard a podcast on this guy.
Yeah.
Then you watch it and you already know, like, well, what happened to the girl that won the date with him? If that result is already spoiled for you, it does spoil a little bit of the movie for you.
That's fair. I actually didn't know. Like
I didn't know either, so that's why I liked it so much.
I thought it was Ted Bundy that had gone on a dating show. You know, like I was talking to this movie about this movie with my wife, and she was asking me, "What are you watching this week?" And I told her Woman of the Hour. It's a true crime movie. And she's like, "Oh, wasn't that Ted Bundy?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think that was Ted Bundy."
throwing around misinformation.
Yeah. So I didn't know the story. Didn't know what happened to Anna Kendrick. So yeah, I agree. That would have been a bit of a spoiler.
So on the dating game, you got 3 contestants, or I guess you would say bachelors, and then you have a woman asking them questions. But they did do it reverse, so you would have guys and then girls throughout the runtime of the dating game.
Yeah.
My question to you, Matt K, is if you had the choice, you had to go out of the dating game, would you want to be one of the 3 bachelors, or would you want to be the guy asking 3 women questions? Where would you go?
I mean, I guess I would, you know, the easy answer is to be the guy asking the questions.
That's what you would want?
Well, yeah, because then you get your choice, you know? It's easier to be the person asking, but I think it would be more fun to be one of the bachelors, because then you can say you truly won, you know? Like my ego would be more stroked.
Right. I mean, there's more of a competition if you're one of the bachelors.
Right. Easier to be the question asker, but more fun to be the askee.
So I 100% would want to be one of the bachelors, because I think this is where I would shine, because they can't see me, right?
Oh, there's a
so
check.
There's a positive.
Yeah.
And it's just my winning personality coming through. I couldn't lose on that game. I couldn't lose.
Boy, I mean, yeah.
Best joke. I do got a good joke here. And I would say the funniest part of the movie is when Anna Kendrick's character goes off script. So it's during a commercial break. She has her questions, and these are those goofy questions that you've seen in the dating game. Or the other game that it reminded me very much of was the Newlywed Game. You know, they would ask those questions like, "Where's the craziest place you've ever done whoopee?" You know, what the hell are you talking about? And what the hell is whoopee? You know?
Right.
But anyways, so those kind of corny questions, and she decides to finally go off script and ask a little bit more intelligent questions and a little bit more biting social issues kind of deal. Hilarious, because the other bachelors, not the serial killer, but the other 2 were hysterical, especially Bachelor 1. I mean, it was a complete meathead, right?
Yeah, he was an idiot.
That was awesome.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, this movie's not without a certain dose of humor all the way throughout. In fact, the guy that does the Batman impersonations plays Anna Kendrick's neighbor, who she kind of has this weird relationship. You know what? I said that there's not much to criticize. That relationship is a little weird. Like, I didn't exactly know what they were trying to convey with that relationship.
Yeah, I thought in the beginning it was just for humor and just sort of moving it along, like her frustrations of trying to break through in Hollywood, and then, you know, probably always having to contend with having that neighbor who was, you know, you're unsure of, are we just friends or is he looking for something more?
Yeah, it goes to a place though, right? Mm-hmm. Because they wind up going out for drinks, and then it goes to a place. And I'm not 100% sure what they were trying to say. But that's a minor gripe.
Okay.
There I found my gripe.
Okay, there's your gripe. So the jaw-dropping moment here, I do need to highlight, who we have not talked about, Tony Hale, my buddy, Buster from Arrested Development. He plays Ed Burke, who is the host of the dating game. And he also adds some humor to it. And in fact, I love when she goes off script, and his reactions to some of the questions are, I mean, they're just quick little one-off reactions, but I laughed out loud a couple of times at just how he, like, what the hell is going on? Like, he can't see, like, that this is good television because he thinks he's the star of the show.
Right.
You know, I love that. I love Tony Hale. He's great. But yes, the most tense scene, I've already mentioned it, is the episode, scene in the parking lot. So that is my most tense. And I picked a B here for a B scene. And I went with most emotional. And this is another storyline in which a girl is actually in the audience watching the taping of the dating game. Oof. Now, she's the one that recognizes the killer and believes that she knows that this is a guy that actually killed one of her friends. You can only imagine how chilling this is.
Yeah.
She goes and tries to get help, and nobody helps her. I mean,
yeah, let's just say she fails.
Absolutely fails at that. But the most emotional scene is then later we get this follow-up scene where her boyfriend brings her to a police station so that the police can hear her story. And the police are just like, what are you talking about? What? You saw this guy on TV? You know, and I got so emotional when she just stood up in absolute frustration and screams at the top of her lungs, would somebody just do their job? And you can feel like nobody was looking for this guy. He's killing women, upwards of maybe what they're talking about, 130 women.
Yeah.
And the cops just like, I don't know, what are you talking about? Some guy on a dating game?
Yeah.
Like,
did you go down the Wikipedia rabbit hole?
No, not all the way. No.
I did. So he was in and out of jail and all this and that. Like a total failure of the system.
Yeah. And so I think that scene was trying to, obviously
for sure.
This is a condensed movie, so they got to show it somehow. So that scene was showing us that it was a complete failure of the system. There were times that somebody has to get up and do their job and put this guy behind bars.
The dude was on national television. He was on the fucking dating game.
It was ridiculous. But I got really emotional watching that moment of outrage by that woman.
Was that your jaw-dropping moment, Ryan?
What do you got?
So mine. So Kendrick did not choose to show graphic violence in this. It should be mentioned. And that being said, I found his last murder to be, I was on the edge of my seat because they, in particular, make this character very sympathetic. I mean, obviously, all the victims that we see in the movie we're very sympathetic towards, but this one in particular was a very vulnerable person, very sympathetic, and I was just like, oh my God, so this is so harrowing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that whole sequence.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was good. And her presence of mind, mm-hmm. it was just a good scene. How about a poster quote?
I went with a promising directorial debut from Anna Kendrick. Nice and simple.
I agree. My poster quote is best first date movie ever.
That's actually really good. I like it.
How many Jaws?
3.5 Jaws for Woman of the Hour.
I went ahead and gave it the full 4.
Wow. Good for you, Matt Kay.
Yeah. A little safe, but really good.
Yeah.
Like it packs a wallop. This is a good movie.
Yep. Absolutely. Like I said, I saw it in Toronto. I loved it then and was dying for it to come out because there's nothing worse than seeing a really good movie that no one else has saw, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm glad it was doing really well on Netflix. It was, number 1 for, I don't know, a couple weeks now.
Still is,
so,
I believe.
Yeah, it's right up there. So check it out. It's on Netflix, Jawheads. If you see it and want to comment on this review, shoot us a tweet at CinemaJaw or an email, feedback@cinemajaw.com.
Let's keep it rolling, Ryan.
Yes, let's keep it rolling. Matt, since 2015, Sean Baker has been skyrocketing up the A-list ladder with each new film he releases. In order, we have Tangerine, The Florida Project, Red Rocket. I recommend checking out all 3 films if you haven't already. He now gives us Anora, a film that comes with the tagline, A Love Story by Sean Baker. That alerts the audience that this is going to be an energetic, raw, real, hilarious, emotional. Well, in a nutshell, it's going to be amazing.
Annie, I got a kid who wants someone who speaks Russian. Let's go.
No, I'm eating my food.
You're killing me. He's a spender. Come on, let's go. Hello, this is the beautiful Annie.
Hi, I'm Annie.
I'm Ivan.
It was really weird. Like, I love him. No way. Yes way. Bruh. And I'm seeing him again tonight.
This was my number 1 film out of TIFF this year, and it is for good reason. Anora is Sean Baker's best yet. Seeing this in a packed theater is the best way to experience it. In the film, Mikey Madison plays Anora. She likes to go by Annie. She is a stripper who one night runs into Zach, played by Mark Edelstein, a Russian Timothy Chalamet. This is what this actor is being dubbed as, a Russian Chalamet. I love that. Zach is the son of a Russian oligarch living in the U.S. His family is beyond wealthy. Thus, he's living it up like you would expect a young 20-year-old dude to do. Well, he really likes Annie and asks her to come hang out with him for a week. He will pay her for her time. The two fall in love, and that is when the crazy starts to hit. All along, we, the audience, feel for Annie. This is the beauty of the film. When the romance starts, I felt like I knew that Zach was just having fun and was not really in love with Annie. But as it goes along, I started to feel that there is hope that this relationship was built out of real love. We, the audience, are basically feeling the exact thing Annie is feeling on screen, but does not say out loud. It's amazing what Sean Baker pulls off there. The journey Annie goes on with these two Russian henchmen is wild and downright hysterical. Sean Baker's secret power is how he ends his films. He may be the best finisher in the business. After all the fun we had, the ups and downs we experienced with Annie, we get one of the most emotional scenes of the year to cap it off. This is the scene that may just win Mikey Madison an Oscar at age 25. It's handled with such finesse by Baker, but it would not have the weight it carries without an A-plus performance from Madison. She delivers the goods. Wow, does she ever. Anora is frenetic throughout, and the emotional gut punch at the end puts it in a category all its own. Simply put, it's one of the best films of the year, Matt.
Wow. I mean, I believe you. I have to see this one. I love Sean Baker. I loved Tangerine. I loved The Florida Project, and I really, really, really liked Red Rocket a lot. So I have to see this.
I know.
Why does he? So he dips back into sex work?
He does.
Okay.
He must have a thing for it, right? I mean, he knows his lane, right?
I guess. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just curious.
Well, I think what's interesting is I think Sean Baker gives us like a slice of realism that no other director is working on. Like, if somebody else was going to make a movie about a stripper, it was going to feel like, oh, okay, they're taking on this industry and we're watching a movie about someone trying to be a stripper. Somehow Sean Baker's able to capture what it's like to like literally be watching a stripper. You know, like I was watching and thinking like, at first, like, do I know this actress? And I kept thinking like, oh, is she an actress? Or is this like Sean Baker got a stripper?
That was where I was going next.
Yeah, but Mikey Madison has been in she had a small role in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
Really small role as one of the girls in The Crazy Guy, Marilyn Manson's...
Not Marilyn Manson, Charlie Manson.
There you go, Charlie Manson's...
Big difference.
Yes, Charlie Manson's gang. So that's where I recognized her from. She's also in one of the Scream movies.
Okay.
And so she was up and coming, but this is literally going to make her a huge name, especially for people listening to this podcast, because obviously are all movie fans. Everybody will know Mikey Madison. It'll probably be another movie until like she's known to the general public.
She's got to get one more. Yeah.
But this, as far as cinephiles go, this is going to put her right at the top of the list.
In that same vein, like we've been saying that about all of Sean Baker's movies, and he's still like this sort of esoteric cinephiles director. Like people outside of our listeners, outside of the Jawheads, most like like our family.
Oh yeah, right. If I brought this up to my brother, like, oh, what's your favorite Sean Baker? He'd be, who the fuck is Sean Baker?
Yeah. Maybe people have heard of a Florida Project because Willem Dafoe was in it.
Right.
But nobody saw it.
Yes, I agree.
Is this going to put him on the map?
Yes, I do. I think right now, as it stands, I think he's going to get a nomination for Best Director for this movie.
No shit.
There's no doubt Mikey Madison. I think right now people would say she's the front runner to win. She'll definitely get nominated. I think she's...
God, I got to see this.
If she doesn't win, it's it's a gritty role because, I mean, like I said, again, going back to this idea that Sean Baker just makes movies with this realism that we don't get from many other directors. So like we saw in the Florida Project, where it has that grittiness and that feeling of like, are these people even
poverty.
acting? Yeah, poverty. It's like not acting like poverty. Like we're literally watching poverty.
Yeah.
He hits that exact note here again. Like, it's like, well, Jesus, this is like a real stripper. I mean, she did some moves, and I've been in strip clubs. I don't want to, I know you have, Matt, frequently.
We're all adults here,
right?
Ryan. Yeah.
Like, when you're in a strip club and you see it through a movie's eyes, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they glamorize it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
this is very much like, oh, they're in a strip club, 100%.
Okay,
You know what I mean? And it just has that vibe, again, going back to the grittiness of it all. So, and it's just downright hysterical. And it has like an energy. I think all of his movies have a great energy about them.
They do.
This one is just like he raised it up another notch. I mean, in Toronto, it was just like people laughing hysterically for about like a 90-minute stretch, just laughter and laughter and more laughter, and you can't believe where this is going. And through all that, you start to love Anora, the character. I mean, you just want to hug her. At the end of the movie, I just wanted to hug this character and say, "I'm here for you."
Has he turned more toward comedy?
Well, I think all of his movies are funny to a degree. Red Rocket was hysterical, and I mean,
hysterical, yeah. But like, so is he moving in that direction? Because Tangerine, not necessarily a comedy. It's got some
but it's very
moments.
funny. It's funny.
It is.
Yeah,
Florida Project,
funny.
Yeah,
yeah. I think he hits. I think he's got the same balance where it's funny but emotional at every time. And I'm serious when I think about like the way the Florida Project ended was like masterful.
People talk about it to this day.
Right. I think this tops that.
Wow.
Yeah. This is like a scene of the year type stuff for sure, the ending of this movie. So it's like, wow, this guy really nailed it here. So glad. I mean,
he's an auteur.
I'm going to go see it a second time for sure. So I only see the big ones, the ones that I really love. Am I going to go see it 2 times in the theater? Because
like Skinamarink.
Yeah. I'm a busy guy, right?
Yeah.
Got a lot of movies to see, but I will make room to see Anora a second time in the theater.
Sold. So did we go over our stats here? Did we talk about a movie poster quote, jaw-dropping scene, that kind of thing?
Jaw-dropping moment.
Go for it.
It's hard not to say the final scene, but to go into good detail on that, I can't.
Spoilers,
because it's spoilers. So I'm just leaving it and saying that would be it, but I can pick others. So I'm going to highlight another great moment, which is a scene in which Anora meets Zach's mom, who is this Russian lady who flew over from Russia in a private jet.
Right, he's like an oligarch, right?
Yeah,
his dad.
Yeah, his dad is, right. And so I wasn't sure at that time where it was going to go. So to see Anora basically stick to her guns and speak her mind in that scene filled my eyes with proud tears, all while laughing at how funny the whole thing was. You're like laughing and crying at the same time. And that's like my favorite thing to do in the movies, is like literally be laughing and emotional at the same time. Sean Baker, take a bow.
Wow. Good for him, man.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
For a movie poster quote, I went with an energetic blast from Sean Baker that will have you laughing and crying. Wow. 4 Jaws from Rye the Movie Guy. I mean, this is contention for movie of the year. I think everybody who sees it's going to have it in their top 10. It's one of those movies. It's going to be tough not to have it in your top 10.
Is this out?
It's out. You can go see it.
I'm going to see this. I'll have a report for the Jawheads next week. I really got to see this.
Yeah, where we're at recording, by the time this comes out, it'll be out everywhere. You could have seen it at the Music Box this past week because they did that kind of like platform release. So I think it was like Chicago, New York, LA, maybe Boston or somewhere. It was like some main cities, and now it's going to be wide. So
good.
Got to check this one out.
I will. Yes. I mean, I have to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
4 Jaws for Rye the Movie Guy. Jawheads, get out there and see it. Let us know what you think. Shoot us an email.
A little emotional even during the...
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. This affected you.
Yep. Shoot us an email, feedback@cinemajaw.com. Let's all go to the lobby. Can you smell what Rye the Movie Guy is cooking for Dwayne Johnson month? I'm so glad I got to go first picking a clip this month because I got to select my favorite Dwayne Johnson movie, which happens to be Jumanji. I love this opening moment when they actually realize which characters they are inside the game. You got Kevin Hart, you got Dwayne Johnson. Enjoy.
I'm Spencer.
What? The hell you are? What is going on? Huh?
I think we're in the game.
So, excuse me?
What are you talking about?
Somehow, I don't know how, I think we got like sucked into the game. And we become the avatars that we chose. So it's me, Spencer, but yet I look and sound like Dr. Smolder Bravestone.
You're telling me that you're Spencer?
Yes, that's it. Fridge, I'm Spencer, which means you're Moose Finbar. It says it right there on your vest. And Martha?
Yeah.
You're Ruby Roundhouse. And Bethany, you're Professor Shelley Oberon. Only Shelley must be short for Sheldon.
What are you talking about?
Oh my god. Oh my god, he's right.
And you're Spencer? You?
Yes, guys, I'm telling you. I am Spencer. I'm Spencer. Ah!
Yep, that's Spencer.
Whoa.
So that means I'm... Wait, Bethany? Bethany, don't! No! I'm an overweight, middle-aged man.
Sparkling drinks, it all colored dandy, 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 dandy.
Before we get to more movie reviews, Ryan, we did throw at least one thing into the fish tank. And you know what? I know KP wants to come out to talk about some of the films we're discussing on this Review-O-Rama. Let's open that fish tank.
Wait a moment! It's fish! Isn't it?
DC! Wake up!
No, Pat, it's a giant glass bowl. Hey, there's some fish folk.
Who's coming with me besides Flipper? Here.
That's a Sicilian message. It means Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Hello, thank you so much. We did. We had at least one. We actually exclusively had one. And it was who is writing the music for Moana 2. I guess at this point it's really who did write the music. For the score, returning, we have Mark Mancina and Opatia Faoi back on the score. And then Lin-Manuel Miranda is gone. I was also correct. We're not just fact-checking Matt here, but myself, because it's also not Kristen Anderson Lopez. There's two people. It's Abigail Barlow and Emily Bear.
Yeah.
Emily Bear apparently is like a mentee of Quincy Jones. They've been doing a lot of stuff in TV. Like these two have apparently... I have no name recognition of these human beings, but their Wikipedia pages are like...
Very impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get to write Moana 2 without some...
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
They've got resumes. That's amazing.
One thing I did want to say about Moana 2, correct me if I'm wrong while we're in the fish tank, that Moana 2 was originally going to be like a series on Disney+. Did you guys hear this?
No, but I didn't hear that.
It started out that way, and then they decided to turn it into a feature-length film.
Thank God.
Do I have that correct, KP? Something along that nature?
There was, what I'm not certain of, there was going to be a Moana series. And I don't know if it's that the story elements just got canceled for that series and turned into the film, or if... Because there was also a live-action Moana in the works.
I think that still might come.
So I don't know if it's just that they're spinning multiple plates. I don't know if one led to the other, or like the series was readapted. It's not clear to me, personally.
I'm happy with a movie.
I am too.
I don't want a series.
Me either.
Yeah. Okay. We're all on the same page here.
Agreed. Well, we're still in the fish tank next week on the Jaw, Matt.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. We are going to be looking at Memoirs of a Snail, new claymation movie, and Blitz, the new Steve McQueen movie, also starring Saoirse Ronan, and A Real Pain. This is directorial debut by Jesse Eisenberg, who also stars in the movie opposite Kieran Culkin.
He's just trying to copy Anna Kendrick.
I know. But this played at the Chicago International Film Fest. Before I could even get tickets, the damn thing was sold out. So we're going to check that one out as well.
For sure.
Good stuff. I think that's about everything in the fish tank.
Wait, before we close the fish tank, let's review another movie.
Why don't we? Inside the fish tank?
Inside the fish tank.
This has never been done before.
It's radical.
You do suck.
Oops, wrong clip.
You are absolutely right.
It has never been done before.
Venom The Last Dance. Well, folks, Eddie Brock and that symbiote of his are back as Venom in Venom The Last Dance. The first two films are questionable, but somehow, and by somehow I mean money, this project got a green light, and here we are to discuss. So Ryan and I hopped on our motorcycles to check to see if this movie will eat your head or just drip off the screen.
This is your captain speaking. If you look out to your left, you'll see a beautiful view of the Grand Canyon.
Told you we could fly!
Oh, they're so close, dude!
Venom The Last Dance is the kind of glorious disaster you just can't help but enjoy. Tom Hardy leans all the way into the madness, delivering lines like he's in on the joke, and he probably is. Eddie and Venom bicker their way through absurdly overblown action sequences, facing a villain so generically menacing that it feels almost nostalgic. It's like the filmmakers knew they weren't making high art and just decided to have a blast, throwing in every campy, over-the-top trope in the book. In Venom The Last Dance, Brock and his unpredictable partner in crime, Venom, are just trying to survive each other when a blast from Venom's past drops in and cranks up the chaos. Eddie's life is already a bit of a mess, but things go from bad to symbiote-level worse as they're dragged into a showdown that tests their weirdly codependent bickering buddy system. From San Francisco's grimy backstreets to all the way out there cosmic chaos, it's nonstop battles, sarcastic banter, and a final dance that's as wild as the duo themselves. I enjoyed the first two movies, Ryan, and I'm glad to say that they found their audience. This one is easily the best of the three.
This is?
This is the best of the three. This entry,
oh my God,
best of the three. We'll get to it, KP. I see you leaning in. Directed by Ruben Fleischer. I'm going to mention the director on this, who also directed the first Venom, which is, I think, the saving grace. He brings back his knack for blending action and humor with a darker, slightly chaotic edge, making this sequel feel both familiar and amped up for fans of the original. And the result, The Last Dance, becomes one of those so bad it's good gems that you just have to experience. I say, go ahead, eat some popcorn out of Venom's head.
Oh my God.
And enjoy.
I actually kind of hated this movie, to be honest.
How dare you?
So this was my first Venom without KP sitting next to me. And I think that ruined some of the enjoyment of the movie because I wanted to laugh along with it. But I was sitting there just in the screening. KP couldn't make the one that I was going to. Matt wasn't present either. And I was like, oh my God, everything was just, the jokes were flat for me. I wasn't enjoying it nearly as much as I did the other two. And I think...
How dare you?
I think a lot of it is, as you mentioned, I don't think the other two are good films either, but at least I had fun with them. I was able to laugh it off, have a good time. But this time I thought the third one is not a good film and I'm not having fun.
You forgot your gummies?
I did take a gummy and it just didn't work. I don't know what the hell happened.
I was like, gummy?
Come on, damn Venom, it's ruining my nights. I would just say it came off flat and it didn't even feel like a complete movie to me. And I know it's...
Yeah, none of them do. I mean, it's...
This movie is titled The Last Dance, Dude, I still felt like, well, what the hell is going on here? Is this like part one of a part two story arc?
No. I mean, maybe, but...
I couldn't believe it.
We got more of these to come. What are you
what
talking
do we got,
about?
KP?
Yeah, that's
we got more of these to come, baby. They're gonna keep milking this cash cow until the gold runs dry.
Where does this one rank, KP, of the three?
So what are we asking here? In terms of enjoyment or in terms of objective quality?
Because none of them are good.
Well...
enjoyment.
It is easily the best produced. I would actually put it...
Thank you.
I would put it second. I think Let There Be Carnage is... I would actually argue that Let There Be Carnage is so much more a so bad it's good, abysmal train wreck of a film. This one's at least put together. Here's the thing. We've gotten write-ins about the Fast and the Furious. I know none of us are Fast and the Furious fans. The ways that I feel about the Venom franchise are the exact same way, where it's like, Matt's talking about how Tom Hardy may or may not be in on the joke. Probably is. The dude absolutely is. Are you kidding me?
No, he is, yeah.
Let's
remove that ambiguity right here. He's in on this joke.
And it's so, like, they all know what they're doing, and it's incredible. I
agree.
It's so much fun. And they know, like, it's weird to me. I remember leaving the theater and telling my friend when we were leaving, like, this is the same friend I went to see Wolverine and Deadpool with, and we hated that.
Wow, I love that.
And the formula isn't that different.
No.
At the end of the day.
It's a fair comparison.
And neither of us know why we like this as much as we do. I think Tom Hardy, as like his charisma, it's not dry yet. It's not like overplayed like the Ryan Reynolds thing is. And I also think, is it a spoiler to say that we see other Venoms?
No, we could go ahead and... I don't think we can even spoil this movie. You could just go ahead and say that, yes.
And they're awesome. Like, if we leave this, when we're talking about, like, will there be more? Like, what's happening here? They're, like, creating a VCU. There's going to be a Venom cinematic universe of its own with all of the... It's going to be awesome.
I guess I went in with the wrong expectations, because I literally did think, well, hopefully that this is... I thought...
Were you thinking it was going to be good?
No, but I thought it was literally going to be the last standalone Venom, and they were going to sort of set up Venom versus Spider-Man.
Oh, you drop your expectations, buddy.
And then I thought, okay, this is where it's going to go. And I was like, oh, it didn't even go anywhere near there. And we're talking about even more Venoms? Like, the hell with this shit. I'm out.
I am just fine with that, for the record. Like,
we did see other symbiotes in the first two movies.
Yes. But this one is like, you care about these ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're good guys.
You kind of care about Carnage, but that's just because it was Woody Harrelson.
Mm. Right.
Yeah.
There was even others in the first film. There were other symbiotes.
Yeah, but this one's also establishing like lore behind the symbiotes too. Like, and
I read Symbiote War.
Here's another problem that I have with these movies, to be absolutely honest, is I don't remember them because I don't put much effort into these movies. Yeah. I'm just watching them because we're going to talk about them on CinemaJaw. And like after a 1 week, and I talk about them on the podcast, out of my mind. So when I'm watching it, I'm like, wait, do I need to remember what happened on the second one? Like, who was this guy talking?
Yeah, not really. So all of a sudden, I don't even know who this guy is, that when he sees the codex, all of a sudden, we got to go get... And I'm like, wait, am I supposed to remember who this is? Where did this creature come from? Yeah, the villain or the creature?
Did it change any of that?
I didn't know any. I was like, wait, is the villain from one of the other movies? Was he? I had no idea. Okay.
No, just underexplained.
Okay, so I was...
Underexplained.
I was completely confused on that because I kept thinking I should know who this is. And then the creature, obviously, we don't know what that thing was, but it was actually...
It doesn't matter.
It was
cool.
well designed. It was really nice looking.
The Xenomorph?
Yes, I will give that credit for sure. That was really neat. He moved a little too fast for my liking. Like, he got all around the globe. It didn't even matter where they were. That creature got to him.
Area 51, no problem.
Yeah, within like 3 minutes, he's right on him. Like, come on.
He's got to cross an ocean.
Yeah, but it's an alien with like portal physics. I don't know. Like, they could jump through.
And regeneration.
You're overthinking it in the opposite way I am. Like, I am overthinking it in the best possible way. Like, don't even get me started. I have a whole thesis. A running bit throughout this film is that Eddie keeps losing his shoes.
Also great.
I loved it.
Can we talk about the actual Last Dance after you make your point?
Yes, that's my jaw-dropping moment.
Okay.
That is my jaw-dropping moment. A favorite character from the series comes back. It's awesome. It's awesome.
It's awesome. Where am I?
They've actually made commercials.
There's nothing awesome here.
With Tom Hardy and this actress where he just walks in and buys something from her convenience store, and that's the commercial. And he doesn't even turn into Venom.
It's awesome.
I agree.
It's awesome.
It's very
and
meta.
Like this moment where you're just like, I was nervous that she wasn't going to come back. Yeah. All this is to say, the shoe thing, like, my over-analyzing Venom comes from every time we see one of these beats where Eddie loses his shoes, I thought about it like it kind of represents a change in setting and a change in narrative. A minor one, but a change nonetheless. And my brain compartmentalizes it like, if this was the comics, every time we see Eddie put on a new pair of shoes, that's a new issue.
Well thought, yes.
Wow, that's
Whether
well
that's
said.
intentional
Okay.
or not, probably not. Probably not. I'm almost certainly overthinking it.
Well, that's the 3-act structure, yeah.
He loses more than 3 shoes.
Yeah. Well, it's the 3-shoe structure.
There you go.
Juno Temple's in this movie. I don't know how well you're that familiar with Matt
I
or
thought
not.
she looked like Cindy Lou Who. I had to look this up. I was like, is this the person who played Cindy? And it's not.
So she was in Fargo, the television show. She's great in there.
She plays the doctor.
Yes, she was also she's in Ted Lasso, and that's how I really got to know her in Ted Lasso. But she's been in numerous things. I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, she's going to be in this.
She's the blonde?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was great in here, and
loved her.
Yeah, she was fantastic. And Chiwetel Ejiofor is in this. Plays the obvious villain that we know that he's going to be
anti-hero.
Yeah,
all right,
he's the
anti-hero.
General
I'll give you
Thunderbolt
that.
Ross to Venom's Hulk.
Yeah, as soon as he comes on screen, it's like, all right, we know what's going on here. I don't know. I had a tough time liking this movie. Again, maybe if we were all sitting there having beers, I would be laughing a little bit more.
Science, but I lost soldiers.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Not jaw-dropping moment. That would never happen moment.
Oh, the whole fucking movie.
The whole movie, of course. But how about how ridiculous it is that they're decommissioning Area 51
for no good reason?
For no good reason. But yet
the thing is right underneath it.
They're still going to be down below. They weren't going to decommission that. They were just going to what are they doing?
Area 54.
Also, the day that it's being decommissioned, and
they're doing the
these
most
side
important experiments.
Not only that, these side characters just crawl through a fence. They crawl like no government, like just completely removed. If anything, like a joke plot device, and they crawl through a fence. It's incredible.
I know.
I love that family, by the way.
Me too.
But I mean, literally, imagine that. Like the government's going to decommission Area 51, and it's just a free for all.
Yeah,
People are just going
in.
through the fence.
Tourists welcome.
We got aliens down below, like 10 feet below your feet, but we're not going to say anything.
I love also like the way that they're decommissioning it is by blowing it up and dropping acid on it. Like that's the cool. Like, how do we get rid of all of our secret file? We got a bunch of acid. Just pour that on it. It's awesome.
That'll come.
It's
that
awesome.
won't come into play later
it's
on.
Chekhov's acid. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
point.
we're saying the same things here,
I
dude.
know, but again, when you're sitting in a theater without the friends, and I'm just sitting there like, this is just so stupid. What am I doing?
Yeah, you got to lean into the stupid.
What about a jaw-dropping moment? Was there something that you got to highlight here, Matt?
The quadruple head chomp. I think you have to have Venom eat somebody's head, and they ate 4 heads in this one. It was great.
So, since we're not doing spoilers and we're going ahead for it, yes, other Venoms, or what do you call it, symbiotes, turn
Symbiotes.
in. And I love when Juno Temple's character finally turns into a symbiote. Absolutely fantastic.
Hers was awesome,
and
too.
it
I agree.
looked great. So I will give credit to the design because I like the alien that is chasing him. I love that thing, and I love when she turned in. I was like, "Whoa, really looked cool!" Like that. I would like to see her a little bit more on screen. That was pretty neat.
The Christmas one looked great. My biggest complaint with the first film is that the symbiotes looked too similar. Not an issue at all. And there's symbiotes abound in this film.
You got a jaw-dropping moment, KP?
Mine is the last dance sequence. All I'll say, like, one, the needle drops in this film all hit. Every single one. But the Dancing Queen needle drop with this titular last dance, who could ABBA's
so ridiculous.
in the best way. And like, again, they're in on the joke and they're saying like, when did you guys rehearse this? It's so
yes,
good.
They
It's
literally
so
say
good.
this. When did you have time to practice together?
So goofy.
Wonderful. The fact that they let you in, I liked it.
Movie poster quote I went with, "The Last Dance? Let's sure hope so."
I went the exact opposite way and said, "Last Dance, my ass."
I did a better Alien movie than the actual Alien movie we got this year.
Agree.
Oh my God.
Agree.
Come on, you numbskulls.
Nope.
I love this. Who is surprised by this, by the way?
We might as well go this way. I'm pointing to you in the room here. Which way we're going to go for our jaws so we can go from low to high. I'll start.
Oh, you're going to start. Okay,
low
go ahead.
to high. I went 1.5 jaws for Venom. 1.5 jaws.
Weak.
Yes.
Weak. I will go. Listen, KP, I graded this honestly at 2.5. But I might be, you can convince me it deserves 3.
I don't think this is a perfect. I'm not whipping out a 4. If this was a pure, did I love it? How did I feel? Yes. But objectively, I'm giving it a 3.5.
Wow.
I loved it. We're going right up the 0.5 steps.
Yep. 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 jaws for the team on Venom, The Last Dance. If you've seen it and you hate it, write us. If you've seen it and you love it, that's fine, but just don't write us. Feedback at CinemaJaw.com. Wow, another Venom movie reviewed here on The Jaw.
It won't be the last.
What we'll do is we'll compile all 3 of our Venom reviews for a special one time, and we'll do we'll go over the whole series and we'll talk about it and we'll replay the reviews.
That's our next partnership with Music Boxes. We're going to do the 24-hour Venom Film Fest.
The animated ending, the title credits over the
cool.
end. Very cool.
Where they're just doing the
different
zoo
animals.
Yeah.
It was cool.
The whole movie. Awesome.
I agree.
Do need to mention also before we close the door on the fish tank and on Venom that there is, of course, some post-credit scenes. And this is another one where the guy comes on.
Total head scratcher for me.
I mean, for you, if it's a head scratcher for you, I'm baffled on what's going on. And it's done in such a serious tone that I'm like, does anybody know what this is?
I think that was the joke.
But they had that montage sequence at the end that was also stupid, but so heartwarming. I'll be honest, that got me a little bit. And I know it wasn't supposed to.
You
But
softy, KP. It was ridiculous.
You're not supposed to think that much.
Well, I don't know because I don't know the comics. So I was like, well, does somebody know who this person is?
No idea.
Nobody knows.
It doesn't matter.
Clue.
Oh.
It's a bromance at the end of the day.
Absolute crapper. All right. I think that's everything in the fish tank. Jump back in there.
Will do.
Now let's get serious, right?
Yeah.
Hugh Grant.
The resurgence of Hugh Grant. If he keeps going like this, we will talk about this one as one of the better second-half career runs of all time. For me, it started in 2016 with his turn in Florence Foster Jenkins. The following year, we get his amazing villain in Paddington 2. We then get highlights in The Gentleman, Dungeons & Dragons, and Wonka. And now we have his career best in Heretic.
Are you interested in learning more about the Church of Jesus Christ?
Come on in.
We can't come inside unless another woman is present.
My wife is home. Does that count?
Great.
You like pie?
Yeah.
My wife has pie in the oven.
I could tell that you are a very spiritually curious person.
I think it is good to be religious, to find your faith in a doctrine you actually believe.
Well, our work here is done.
Now, I will go and check on the pie.
So sweet, silent angel.
Heretic opens up with 2 young girls who are missionaries for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They have been spreading their word all day when they finally come to the door of Mr. Reed. Mr. Reed is played by Hugh Grant, and he is phenomenal. He tells the 2 young girls that his wife is at home, but is in the back of the house. One of the church's rules is that a woman must be present in the room for them to enter. They do agree to enter his house before the wife appears. No shocker or spoiler, there is no wife. There is, however, blueberry pie in the oven, which Mr. Reed says he will bring out in a moment. In the meantime, the girls give their spiel about the church. It turns out Mr. Reed is not only familiar with their religion, he has studied and has views and opinions on all religions. He soon starts to deconstruct religion as a whole. I found this section of the movie to be incredibly intriguing. The beauty of it all is that when you start to get invested into a topic like that, you become more vulnerable for a good scare. And Heretic is a creeper in more ways than one. More on that in a second. Eventually, the two girls are given a choice by Mr. Reed, and that is when things go in a direction I did not see coming. I actually love where it went. Hugh Grant is going to get a ton of praise here, and rightfully so, but I need to highlight the two young women in the cast. Sophia Thatcher plays Sister Barnes, and Chloe East plays Sister Paxton. Both are tremendous. In a post-screening Q&A we had streamed live in our theater, Hugh Grant talked about how good both actresses were and pointed out how difficult it can be to be an actor and always have to react to someone or something else on screen, and these two women do it so well, it's amazing. One other thing about the screening, which took place at the Alamo Drafthouse, and this was awesome, by the way, Matt. I've never seen anything like it. In the film, Mr. Reed is making a blueberry pie and mentions it. And, well, right around that time, our theater started to smell like blueberry pie. Lo and behold, the waiters at the Draft House brought out complimentary blueberry pie while we watched the film. Heretic is smart and interesting type of horror film. I think I will like it more on a second viewing, as the plot and the decisions of the characters on screen are very intricate. This gives off some Barbarian vibes, which is a great thing because I love that film as well. Heretic is one of the biggest surprises of the fall season for me. I highly recommend checking this one out.
Well, I think the question on everybody's mind after hearing that review, Ryan, is did you eat the blueberry pie?
Oh, my God, of course. And in fact, I had a very embarrassing moment take place during this. Here's what happens. It starts to smell like blueberry pie. I thought they were like piping in the smell, and they may have. I mean, it was heavy. I'm like, oh my God, it's blueberry pie. And then all of a sudden, these waiters just start dropping it at everybody's table. I was sitting next to E-Man to my right, and to my left was Steve Procopy. Both these guys had ordered food, and I mention this because they had food at their little table. You know, I got that little station in front of you at these kind of things.
Yeah.
And they already had napkins and a full set of things. I had just went with a beer, so I have no napkins in front of me. They drop a blueberry pie, and it smells very good. No napkins. Fork and a plate and a piece of pie. But I'm in a dark theater. I can't see anything. But I'm like, oh my God, that blueberry pie smells really good.
I see where this is going.
So I'm like, well, I might as well have some blueberry pie. I literally can't see anything, though. You know how your eyes can't adjust? You're looking at the screen, and I'm like, I don't know. I was feeling the best I could with the fork. I got a good piece of the pie, but I didn't know exactly what I was about to eat. I go to eat it, and part of the pie was probably hanging off of the fork, like down, like dripping down as I went to put it in my mouth. And it basically got like a humongous piece of pie on my cheek, chin, and started to slide down my neck. I mean, just all blueberry as it went into my mouth. I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst. So then I fumble around this plate. There's no napkins. I got no napkins. So I thought, well, I can either wipe my face in E-Man's sleeve. You know, he's right to my right.
He'd forgive us.
Yeah. Or what do I do here? So what I ended up going with was they have those this is so crazy. Mind you, I'm just covered in blueberry pie at this point. I went with those cards that you use to write down. These are basically like
yeah, they're menus.
Yeah, little cards that
it's like
you
a
write
golf score card.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I pulled one of those out because those are in the little slots on your table there, and I used that as basically like a card napkin and wiped it off my face. I used 3 of those to give you an idea. It was dripping down my neck, had it on my fingers.
At least you could feel it. You didn't like walk out with blueberry stain on your face.
But even worse, I kept touching my like chest and my pants because I wasn't sure if did it drip down onto my clothes. You know, it was very tough to see. So then I was just afraid to touch the pie the rest of the time. Like, oh, forget it. It's just not worth it. but it tasted good. From what I had, it was good blueberry pie.
I wouldn't have been able to stop.
They should have also come around with like those little Jehovah's Witnesses Bibles too, right? Because then you could have tended to the situation and cleaned up.
Yeah,
they missed an opportunity.
Because those Bibles always have the thinnest paper.
Oh, absolutely.
It's almost like toilet paper. So it's like, yeah, you could have used that and got the face clean. But yeah, I mean, you're serving pie in a dark theater. It's very difficult to eat. Let's be honest.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And you're a slob, so
yeah.
that doesn't help.
But great idea to have like a key moment when he's talking about getting the blueberry pie and then have waiters bring out blueberry pie in a movie. I've never seen anything like that. That was awesome.
The Alamo Drafthouse occasionally knocks it out of the park.
They really did.
Yeah.
I give him credit. Willis, you can talk about this offline too, but like the ability to make it smell like that too.
Right.
That would be really hard, like without an essential oil diffuser or something.
Yeah.
Who knows? They probably did. I'm with Ryan on this one. They probably did pipe in the smell.
I would imagine, because like as he was talking about it, I was like, yeah, well, I smell blueberry pie, Pretty
That's
damn
so
neat.
cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. So that was great. Do have a jaw-dropping moment.
Oh, please do tell.
Yes.
Better than blueberry pie?
So I mentioned that this is a creeper in more ways than one. There is a scene in which Mr. Reed, Hugh Grant, talks about iterations and how the general population know just about the popular iteration. They don't know the original of like maybe where something came from. And he gives various examples in the film. And one of his main examples is Radiohead's Creep, a song most everyone knows well. But the chords used in Creep are very similar to those used
famously.
in The Air That I Breathe by the Hollies. And now Radiohead didn't even go to court. They just flat out gave half of the publishing rights to the Hollies. Because rumor has it, that's why they don't even like the Creep song. They were just playing that as is in the studio. Like, it's kind of like that Hollies song, like, who knows?
Yeah.
But they weren't that concerned about it. And so he plays the Hollies for them, and then he talks about how it's basically the same as Creep. And as Matt Kay says here, very famously on CinemaJaw, you don't show a gun on screen unless you're going to use it. Well, I'm going to do my own iteration on that phrase and say you don't mention Radiohead's Creep in a movie unless you're going to play it.
Oh, hell yeah.
And when it comes on in this movie, it's a thing of beauty. God, boy, Heretic, awesome. Love it.
Oh, so it's got Radiohead in it. That's why you like it.
No, not only. But I mean, it's always a bonus. I always say it's a bonus when Radiohead comes on. So
Fair enough.
Good use of Creep as well.
I mean, it's a great song, man. And that was your jaw-dropping moment?
Yes.
All right. What about a movie poster quote?
I went with, "Come for the blueberry pie, stay for Hugh Grant's best performance of his career."
Wow. Tall movies this week, Ryan.
Absolutely.
How many jaws you giving this one?
So here's where I'm at. 3.75 jaws.
Wow.
And why the 0.75?
Why?
Why the 0.75?
Because the blueberry pie dripped down your face.
And you still haven't brushed it out. I've been wanting to tell you the whole
you got
episode.
a
It's
little
still in the
something
beard,
right
right?
there, yeah.
It's still in the beard. No, I went 3.75 because of this. I do think the movie, I'm not positive is the best way to say it, that the movie sticks the landing. And it's a movie that I want to watch a second time. If it does really nail the landing, it's a 4-jaw movie. If it doesn't, it's about a 3.5. Not that it's not one of those movies where it has to end perfectly for it
They
to
need
work.
Sean Baker to come in and write their
Right,
ending.
because he's the closer, right? That's like, go to the bullpen, bring him in. But it may. I just got to watch it a second time. A lot's happening there. You're soaking in a lot. And so I'm like, well, God, that was great. But it's great even if it doesn't stick the landing. That shouldn't be what we're focused on because the movie itself is awesome.
What's the horror level?
So the horror level is way more on the level of like creepiness of being in this guy's house, more so than things are jumping out and scaring you. But it does go, I mentioned that we have a little bit of a barbarian vibe, meaning that it goes a little bit deeper. And obviously we're in this guy's house, so maybe by levels I'm talking about, but also like what they're talking about, the deconstruction of religion.
He's got a dungeon down there.
And how far are they going to take this to prove his point and to prove their point, and it all comes to a head at some point. And I was like, wow, I didn't know it was going to go so deep, So very, very interesting film. I hope a lot of people check it out. A24.
good to see them coming back after their missteps.
BS. What are you talking about? Their mishaps.
Their missteps.
They're great. So yes, Hugh Grant though, fantastic. I mean, might get some award buzz. We'll see. But this is awesome. Good stuff. 3.75 Jaws for Heretic.
Time for some trivia?
Yes, and I should mention Heretic is in theaters on November 8th. So check it out then, Jawheads.
Do it.
In honor of Heretic, we are playing Hugh Grant movie trivia.
I'm going to die.
And because
He's gonna kill me in his
we're
basement.
celebrating The Rock, I'm not going to use the buzzer and the bell. I'm going to give you two options here. If you get it correct, you're going to get this one.
You are absolutely right.
And if you get it wrong, you're going to get this one.
You do suck.
How's that sound? KP seems to like it.
I love it.
I love it too.
I love it.
All right. I said Matt will go 0 for 5. I think there's a good shot. And I wrote these questions for him, but I still think he may go 0 for 5. I wrote him the easiest. This is the easiest one I got. Hugh Grant starred in Bridget Jones's Diary. Who was Bridget Jones?
Renee Zellweger.
You are absolutely right.
All right.
Yes.
Way
So
to
not
go,
0 for
Matt.
5.
Not an 0 for 5.
You've already exceeded expectations. You can
see?
tap out and you'll be fine.
Wish I could.
Question 2, Matt. A year after Groundhog Day, this actress appeared opposite Hugh Grant in 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
He did make so many crappy romantic comedies. 4 Weddings and a Funeral was Kate Hudson.
You do suck.
Oh, man.
Was it Jennifer Lawrence?
Andy McDowell.
I mean, okay, I was way off. Never would have
Jesus.
come up with Andy McDowell.
I knew you weren't going to come up with that. I gave you the Groundhog Day clue in there, but you don't listen.
No, I don't listen.
Yeah. Question 3. Hugh Grant made one movie with Julia Roberts. Name it.
Notting Hill.
You are absolutely right.
I don't know how you got that, man.
Never seen it.
You're just a guy playing trivia in front of whatever that speech is that she gives. All right. Matt is 2 for 3, so he only needs one more not to be stumped. I'm stunned where this has gone. Question 4, Matt. Hugh Grant made one movie with Sandra Bullock. It came out in 2002. Name it. What do we got? Hugh Grant and Sandra Bullock in what?
Okay. Sandy has made some shitty comedies. She really has.
Miss Congeniality.
Yeah, that's not it.
21 Days.
Keep going. You
No,
got any-
don't keep helping Matt Kay by naming every movie.
My Boss's Daughter.
You do suck.
Absolutely incorrect, Matt. We were looking for 2 weeks' notice.
Yeah.
So it comes down to
Nobody's
this.
looking for that. Hey, I'm calling because I want to rent a movie, and I just want to make sure you guys have it before I drive down there. Do you have 2 weeks' notice in stock? The phone call that never happened.
The guy just hangs up on you at that point.
When we're talking about things, there's like 3 jawheads geriatric enough to know what we're even talking about.
True. I mean, there was family videos up to like 2015.
All right, here we go. Last question, and you need it correct not to be stumped. Believe it or not, Hugh Grant appears in 3 movies directed by Guy Ritchie. Name 2 of the 3.
Okay. I'm pretty sure he's in The Gentleman.
That is one. Need one more.
Yeah. He's not in the early Guy Ritchie. He's in the more recent Guy Ritchie. So he wasn't in like Lock, Stock, or he was not in Snatched or oh man. What was that other one? Shit. I'm not going to come up with it.
Oh, come on, Matt.
You have 2 more chances, too.
I do?
No.
Well,
This is the last question.
But there's 2 other movies.
Right. But you only got one guess. There's no way you get the third one. There's only one other one that you would get out of the 2.
Did Guy Ritchie also direct the spy movies, the British spy movies? Yeah, he did, right?
Not sure. Can't give you too many hints.
He did, right?
007? I don't know what you're talking about.
Not James Bond. I mean,
when you say the British spy movies,
right.
what are you?
I know, what are you talking about?
That's fair. That's fair. No, the other British spy movies that kind of tie into the Guy Ritchie vibe. Not The Gentleman, but it's
Aladdin.
No, Aladdin.
Didn't he do the? He did one of the Disney live action.
I think he did do Aladdin,
did.
actually.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that was Guy
KP's
Ritchie.
absolutely right.
Was he in Aladdin? No.
Time's ticking. We need an answer.
No hint?
No hint.
I mean, I should get it because I came up with The Gentleman.
No, you shouldn't. I asked for 2 out of 3.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
That's
It
right.
doesn't matter, Matt. You're not getting any hints.
5 seconds.
I don't know. Guy Ritchie married Madonna.
That is incorrect.
You do suck.
You were on the right track. That's what was so painful.
I know. Wait. What is it?
It's called The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
The Man from U.N.C.L.E. God.
Which was a good movie. If Jawheads have not seen The Man from U.N.C.L.E., that was a good one. So the third one we did not review. I haven't seen it. I know Matt hasn't seen it. It's called Operation Fortune. Came out in 2023.
Yeah.
I have not seen that. So
No, me neither.
yeah. But I thought I heard decent things also.
Guy Ritchie can be good.
He can be. I think he's also in that Hugh Grant category where he's turning up a little bit. Like expectations have gone down a little bit. Now his later career, he's doing all right.
Yeah, Lock, Stock was amazing, and then it was downhill for a while, and now he's picking back up.
Yeah. So
Gentleman was great.
a lot of fun.
Agree.
You know what else was great? This Jaw.
Hell yeah, it was.
Damn right it was. Brings us to the end of a great Jaw. First and foremost, we got to thank our editor, our producer, KP.
Happy to be here. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And we can basically just end the show right now. Call Brian on. We already know the #1 movie of the year.
Yeah. Hell yeah, we do. It was in this episode. We won't say which one it was.
Right.
What if like each of us had our?
It either starts with an A or a V.
Matt's was WTH.
We're all over the place.
We are.
Good stuff. Hey, we also want to thank the Patreons. Thank you for supporting the show.
Hell yeah.
Very important for an independent podcast to be supported by such great fans. Thank you. If you want to join the family of Patreons, go over to patreon.com/CinemaJaw.
Yeah, do it.
Other way to support the Jaw?
Just click something.
Right?
Yeah, just pull your phone out. You're listening to us on your phone, most likely. Click a button. Click a like, click a follow, click a subscribe, whatever it is, click it. It's free and it really helps.
Awesome. Until next week, I'm Rye the Movie Guy.
And I'm Matt K.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
And keep on jawing about the movies.